Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Lexus LC500 in this mica blue. The LC500 has always been such a looker. And the question today is, how does it stack as a GT? We're gonna be testing this Grand Tourer on these windy canyon roads. Not its ideal habitat, but my God, this thing's looks are stunning. We're powered by a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8, pushing out 471 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. That's the transmission you wish that they put in the IS500, because the IS500's 8-speed is garbage, but this 10-speed, let me tell you, is fantastic. Now, the owner got this used. Right now it's around 60,000 miles, but he got this used, shipped from Florida for around $55K. Stupid good deal. I was considering getting one of these, believe it or not. 2020, I had a really good year in terms of business, growth, and whatnot. And I mean, the interior, the build quality, these little details, like the door handle, oh my God, the magnesium shifters, everything is just so on point. The way it looks, outside and inside. Dark blue exterior, tan leather interior. Classic combo. And we bring her to life. And getting into this interior, it is very impressive. The grab handle here, the way things just integrate, it's beautiful. Infotainment, of course, is polarizing with this touchscreen, or sorry, touchpad, I should say, not a touchscreen. Makes it a little bit harder to use, but even the gauge, right? The gauge with this LFA inspired, look at that, look at that, how sick. Now we're gonna turn traction off by holding this left Shrek's ear. And then on the right, we can actually change from normal, or rather, comfort to normal, to Sport S, to Sport S Plus. Now, I was considering buying one of these, and back then in 2020, used ones were going for like 90. And new ones, of course, are around 100, 105. And I didn't pull the trigger, because I finally had some sense knocked into me, by me, and I realized that I need to buy a house before I buy a $100,000 car. So that's what I did. But I remember test driving one of these and really thinking that this might be my next car. This does not have the performance package. Performance package adds rear steer and 21-inch wheels, but this one's already optioned with 21-inch wheels. Alright, let's get this traction notification off. There we go. Put this into manual mode. Man, that engine though. That is the centerpiece of the car. Woohoo! The thing that really surprises me about this car is how playful it is as a GT. Even driving up to this spot, I was getting the tail out a little bit, and it's very easy to control with the throttle. It wants to step out, and it's so gradual and progressive. This thing could be a little drift missile if you wanted it to be. That was weird. I thought I had 2 downshifts? We're in manual mode. Alright, let's try that again. These downshifts are lightning fast though. Lightning fast. The way it wants to step out on throttle, I love that, dude. So playful. But the steering is still bothering me. I thought I would get used to it by now. It's very light, even in this Sport Plus mode. Yeah, upshifts are a little bit slower. The downshifts are really fast. I just can't help myself, man. traction control is off. It keeps alerting me. I'm aware. Press that button. Yeah, so the steering is... Oh, yeah. Actually, in this more aggressive mode, the adaptive dampers are feeling pretty good. Like, the car is communicating the texture of the road in a non-punishing way. Let's do a pull. So it will auto shift for you from first to second, but after that it will hold the gear as you hit red line, and it'll bounce it off. Love that. IS500 doesn't quite do that, even though it's the same engine. The transmission is different and the tuning. Yeah, brakes are definitely more GT. You have a little bit of the softness, and then eventually it grabs, and then it's still not as firm as I would have liked. But again, I guess as a GT, it is more congruent with the rest of the vehicle. But the steering, let's go back to the steering. It's a little bit too light, and how do I describe this? Right off center, really light, really numb. And then you turn it 10 degrees, and then you feel this this loading up. And then like mid-course, it doesn't change though. The loading doesn't change as you put weight over the front tires. And I want some communication. I mean, it's a GT, keep it, you know, keep most things pretty filtered and numb, that's fine, but I want a little bit of something. Woohoo! She wants to step out, boys. Oh my god, you can totally throttle steer this thing. Completely. That Torsen LSD and the way they've tuned this car is great. It's excellent. It's a playful GT. It's a really playful GT. Now, Fenton's son from the Zygon YouTube channel, shout out to him. Go follow him. He has actually reviewed this same car, and he's made it possible for me to review this car too. He actually says this is his favorite GT of all time. Even better than the Aston Martin Vantage, V8 Vantage that we drove not too long ago. I loved that car. The thing is, that car has beautiful hydraulic steering. And again, everyone has different biases. So me driving this, the steering bothers me more than it would maybe the average car enthusiast, because I love steering. And I was talking to Fenton about this earlier today. I think the reason is that as a child, I was honing my manual dexterity, doing a lot of like small art things and building model cars, building stuff from scratch, like these complex boxes with felt things and whatever. And then obviously I went into plastic surgery. So I'm really honing it, and even in med school and in residency, I was practicing my hand dexterity constantly. So to me, what comes through my fingers is really important. It shapes a lot of the driving experience, and this steering is, I guess maybe it's what you expect for a GT, but it's like totally numb. There's no variation to the weighting as you load up the front tires. Maybe a tiny bit. And I get it, it's an E-Pass, but still, there are other cars with E-Pass that have better steering. There's something off about this, and it's the weighting that as you turn it, it's like light, and then it kind of artificially bites. It's strange, and I'm still not used to it after driving it for 15, 20 minutes. But apart from that, Lexus has hit a home run, and they invested a lot into this car, right? I mean, this has multi-link front, multi-link rear. You don't really see that in many cars. Even though it's a chunky monkey heavy car, as you push it, the front doesn't wash out. It has a great, beautiful, balanced chassis dynamic that's playful, that wants to step out as you get on the throttle. The shift logic is a little bit conservative. It doesn't let you downshift anywhere near redline. Maybe I shouldn't say anywhere near, but let's just say it's not as free as a 911's PDK that really lets you downshift even close to redline. But everything just comes together so beautifully in this LC500. Let's give it one more pull. I love the way it bangs off that rev limiter so quickly. One thing that's also surprising is you can hear a few little creaks here and there. The chassis still feels quite stiff, and the suspension tuning is fantastic actually. Let's put it back into normal mode. Yeah, in normal mode, it's a comfortable cruiser, a great GT. The interior design and build quality is excellent, apart from these creaks here and there, which I'm guessing that's just leather rubbing on itself and stuff like that. But man, such a cool car. The steering does really taint the experience for me though. It's, for me as a steering aficionado, it is a significant limitation of this vehicle. But apart from that, I mean, the way it handles at the limits, the way it wants to step out, it's just so playful. And looking at the car and the way that, the thing that you would expect from the car as a GT, you wouldn't expect it to be that playful and that willing to rotate at the limit. I hear that the performance package that has the rear steer actually tends to understeer more, so the owner specifically did not want that. He says it doesn't handle as well. And the way they've tuned this car, it handles its weight quite well. But other things, going back to the Aston versus LC comparison, obviously this is a much better prospect for long-term ownership in terms of depreciation, reliability, things like that. Styling, exterior, that's subjective. I think the Aston has a slight edge to me, even though I do think the LC500 is beautiful. They're both excellent cars. Build quality here is obviously better. The interior quality here, you're gonna notice quite a bit. But some things here are a bit off. Like I said, the steering, but also the seating position. I'm pretty high up. The seat is all the way down. I'm still too high. The steering wheel doesn't telescope as far as I want it to, as a taller guy, 6'1", with long legs. So I'm going to politely disagree with Fenton, because I definitely prefer the Aston. The Aston, to me, it speaks to me because it is lighter. You can feel that as you drive it. Better seating position in the Aston. Comes with a manual, at least the one that we drove. This one is automatic only. And the steering in that Aston is just excellent. But don't get me wrong, the LC500, a super cool car. And ultimately, I chose to get a Lotus Emira, a completely different vehicle. I think that this is a vehicle that I wouldn't really have a purpose for in my garage, whereas I could possibly justify something like an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. But the thing with that Aston is that the build quality is not like this. I mean, look at even this analog clock. I love that. I love that. The interior is beautiful, and if the tan leather is a bit old man, it's still gorgeous. My friends, let me know what you think of the Lexus LC500. Leave a comment down below. Much love, my friends. Visit us on jubbalandcars.com if you want your car reviewed, and we'll see you in the next one.